So let's solve this question. This question came in the year 2020. Okay. And this is a very lengthy question. Okay. It requires a lot of space, and also it's a time consuming question also, but the question is not difficult. It is lengthy. Okay. So anyway, we have a lot of time. So just let's try to solve this question. You can see here two functions have been defined. Okay. And what they are asking, the return value of function 2, that is fun2 of 5 is fine. Okay. So it means what? We have to start with fun2. Okay. So let's solve it. So here fun2 of 5. Fun2 of 5. It means what? At the receiving end, you see a local variable n is there, int n. Okay. So here n value is 5. Fine. N value is 5, and after that static int I is equal to 0. Okay. So a static variable have been initialized as 0. Fine. And let's give the address as 100. Okay. And you know the concept of static variable, that it is initialized only once. Okay. And all the updated values are retained. Okay. So the static value I is 0. So now here condition is checking n greater than 0. We know here n is 5. 5 greater than 0. Yes, 5 is greater than 0. Since this condition is true, so now let's execute this line. I is equal to I plus fun1n. I means what? The value of I is 0. 0 plus fun1 of n. What is the value of n? The value of n is 5. Fine. Okay. So now this function is calling itself again here. That is fun2. Okay. With fun2 and with the argument as n minus 1. That the value of n is 5. So 5 minus 1 as 4. Okay. So let's solve this fun2 part later. First solve this now. So here fun1 and the parameter is 5. It means what? Fun1 function have been called here. So let's move to the definition part of fun1, and you see here in the definition part the local variable is n. Okay. The local variable is n whose value will be 5. Okay. So you see this n and this n both are different. This n is local to this function and this n is local to this function. It means what? Both these n have separate addresses. Okay. So let's not talk about the address part now. Okay. It might not be required in this question. Okay. So it has a static variable I. Okay. So this is the static variable for this function fun1. Okay. So let me write here I. Okay. And its value is 100. Let's give it a different address. Okay. Let's write here. So since this is the static variable for fun1 functions, this is the static variable for fun1 function. So here I will write I1, and this is the static variable for fun2 function. So here I will write I2. Okay, so that you can easily distinguish. Now let's check the condition. If n greater than 0, 5 greater than 0, yes. So plus I. It means what? The value of I will be incremented. Which I? This I. Because this I belongs to this function. Okay. So just erase this 0 and write here 1. Fine. And now again, fun1 is calling itself again. Fun1. Okay. Fun1. But this time with the parameter as n minus 1. So what is the value of 5? What is the value of n? That is 5. So 5 minus 1 is n minus 1 is 4. Okay. So again let's go to fun1. Okay. And the value of n is 4 here. Okay. And this n is and this n and this n are different. Okay. This n is local to this function and this n is local to this function. Okay. Now static int I is equal to 0. no need to initialize the value of I again, because I is a static variable. It had already been initialized. So now let's come to this part. If n greater than 0, 4 greater than 0, yes, 4 is greater than 0. Okay, since it's a true statement, so increment the value of I. So now I value will become 2. 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay, so now fun1 function has again been called. Okay, fun1 with the parameter as n minus 1. So what is the value of n for this function? 4. So n minus 1, it means what? 4 minus 1 is 3. Okay, okay. Now let's come here. Fun1 int n. Okay, so here the value of n is 3. Okay, and now no need to check this part. If n greater than 0, yes, 3 is greater than 0, so plus I. So I means what? 2 plus 1 is 3. Okay, now again fun1 is called fun1, but with the parameter as n minus 1. So what is the value of n? 3. So 3 minus 1 is 2. Okay, now yes, so now again, now fun2 is getting called here. Okay, so the value of n is 2. Fine, and now just if n greater than 0, 2 is greater than 0, yes, 2 is greater than 0, then again increment the value of I1 as 4. Okay, now again fun2 is calling itself, fun1 is calling itself as fun1 of n minus 1. The value of n is 2, so 2 minus 1 is 1. So the value of n is 1. Okay, so the value of n is 1. Fine. Now 1 greater than 0, yes, 1 is greater than 0. So plus I. So I value will become 5. Okay, so erase the value of I and let's write here 5. Okay. Now again fun1 of n minus 1. N minus 1 is 0. Okay, so the value of n is 0 here. So int f fun1 int n. So the value of n is 0. So again, if 0 greater than 0, no, 0 is not greater than 0. So it means what? This condition is false. So don't execute these two statements. So directly come here. So return of I. So the value of I will be returned here. It means what? Here 5 will be returned. Okay. So 5 will be returned. So now you see the value of 5 will be returned to fun1 of 0. Okay. So it means what? Ultimately the value of 5 is returned to fun1 of 5. Okay. So here I can write 5. Okay. So this part fun1 of 5 is actually 5. Fine. So now since this statement have been successfully executed, so now let's come to this line, fun2 of 4. Okay. So here you see, since the value of fun1 of 5 is 5, it means what? The value of I will change. 0 plus, let's write 5 here. 0 plus 5, 0 plus 5 is 5. So the static variable I2 for fun2 is 5 now this time. Okay, fine. So now let's come here of fun2 of 4. Okay, so what is fun2 of 4? So the value of n is 4. So static, so no need to reinitialize the static variable. Okay, it will remain as 5. So if n greater than 0, if 4 is greater than 0, yes, 4 is greater than 0. So now let's write I is equal to I plus fun1 n. I means what? What is the value of I this time? This time the value of I is 5. 5 plus fun1 of n. What is the value of n? This time the value of n is 4. Okay. So, okay. So now fun1 of 4 have been called here. So let's go to fun1. Okay. So here in fun1, you see here the local variable n. Okay, and its value will be 4. Okay, because 4 is passed. Fine. And now static int I, so no need to reinitialize the static variable. Now just come here. If n greater than 0, if 4 is greater than 0, yes, 4 is greater than 0. So plus plus of I. So it means what? The value of I will be incremented. I am talking about I1, okay? Because I1 is for this function. So the value of I will be incremented, so it will become 6 here. Okay? So it is 6. Now, fun1 is calling this time fun3. Why? Because n minus 1, so 4 minus 1 is 3. Okay? So again, you see, let's come here. The value of n will be 3. So now 3 greater than 0. Yes, 3 is greater than 0. Okay? So now, since 3 is greater than 0, so the value of I will be incremented by 1, that is 7. Okay? Now again, fun3 will call fun2. Fine. And now 2 is greater than 0. 2 is greater than 0. Okay? So the value of I will be incremented by 1, that is 8. Fine. And again, fun2 is calling fun1. Why fun1? Because 2 minus 1 is 1. Okay? And yes. And now, since 1 is greater than 0, so plus plus I. 1 is greater than 0 plus plus I, it means what? 8 will become 9. Fine. And now, fun1 is calling fun0. Okay. So now 0 is greater than 0, no, false. Okay. So it means what? These two statements will not be executed, so this statement will be executed, return of I. So the value of I will be returned. So what is the value of I this time? 9. So you just, so here we are getting the value of I as 14. Okay, so I have updated the static variable of I as 14. So now fun2 is calling which function? Since this line have been executed, so now fun2 is calling fun2 of 3. Okay. So now same thing will happen here. What? Fun2 of 3 means what? The value of n is 3. So no need to execute this line. So 3 greater than 0. Yes, 3 is greater than 0. So now I is equal to I plus fun1 of n. What is the value of I? The value of I means what I am talking about, the I which belongs to the function fun2. Okay. I belongs to the function fun2. So it means what? I2. The value of I2 is 14. 14 plus. Okay. So this is taking some more time, but don't worry, it's not very difficult question. Okay. I agree that the question is very lengthy. So fun1 of n. So what is the value of n? 3. Okay. So now let's come here. The value of n is 3. Okay. So 3 greater than 0. Yes, 3 greater than 0. So plus plus I. So now this I will be incremented because this I1 is for fun1. Okay. I am telling again and again. So I will be incremented. It means what? It will become 10 here. Okay. Fine. And now fun3 is calling fun2. Okay. So the value of n is 2. Fine. And now 2 greater than 0. Yes, 2 is greater than 0. So now again the value of I will be incremented. So 10 will become 11. Okay. Fine. And yes. And now fun2 will call fun1. Fine. The value of n is 1 this time. So 1 greater than 0. Yes. 1 is greater than 0, so plus plus of I, so I value will become 12 this time because initially it was 11, so now it becomes 12. Okay. So now fun1 will call fun0. We'll call fun1 of 0. Okay. So now fun1 of 0. So just the value of n is 0. Okay. So 0 greater than 0? No. it means what? The value of I will be returned. So what value will be returned here? 12. Okay. So now here fun3 will get the value 12. So the value of I this time is, I means what? This time I'm talking about this I2. So the value of I2 becomes 14 plus 12. 14 plus what value it is receiving? 12. That is 26. So I2 becomes 26. Okay. Fine. So now again you see. Now let me drop this. Just wait. So now you see this part is over. Fine. This statement have been successfully executed. So now fun2 will call this function fun2 of n minus 1. So now fun2 of n minus 1, that is 2. So now fun2 of 3 is calling fun2 of 2. Okay. So here there are some lack of spaces there. Fun2 is calling fun2 with parameter 2. Okay. So just write here what is the value of n, that is 2. And now 2 greater than 0, yes, 2 is greater than 0. So let's write here I is equal to I plus fun1 of n. So what is the value of I? The value of I is 26. I'm talking, take this value I2, because I2 is for fun2 and now we are talking about fun2. Okay, I is equal to 26 plus fun1 of n, that is 2. Okay. Fine. Now let's go to fun1. The value of n is 2. So now 2 is greater than 0. Yes, 2 is greater than 0. So increment the value of I as plus I. So the value of I will become I1 will become 13 because it was 12. So it will become 13. Okay. Now again fun1 of n minus 1 is called fun1 of n minus 1. So the value of 2 will become 1. Not 2 will become 1. So 1 will be subtracted from 2. Okay. So now fun2 is calling fun1 of 2 is calling fun1 of 1. Fine. So n is 1 this time. So now again 1 greater than 0. Yes, 1 is greater than 0. So plus of I. Plus of I means what? It is 14. Okay. So now again. Yes. So now fun1 is calling. After this line, fun1 is calling what? Fun of 0. So the value of n is 0. So now again here the value of n is 0. So 0 greater than 0. No, that's a false statement. Okay. So it means what? This value will be returned here. Okay. So what is the value of here? 14. I1 is returned. It means what? 14 is returned here. So it means what? Here fun1 2 will get the value 14. So this time it is 26 plus 14 is equal to 36, 40. Okay. So it means what? The value of I is 40. It means what? I am talking about this time, I am talking about this I. Okay. So the value of I2 has become 40. So let's write here 40. Okay. So now after this, you see, since fun2 has executed this line, since fun2 has executed this line, so now fun2 will call again fun2 with the value n minus 1. So let me write here, okay, because it's a lack of space is there. So now fun2 has already executed this line. So now fun2 will execute again. Will execute this line. It means what? Fun2 will call fun2 with the value n minus 1. So what was the value of fun2? Okay, in the value of n was 2, and now fun2 will call fun2 with parameter of n minus 1, that is 1. Okay. Now you see the value of n is 1. Okay. So here you see 1 greater than 0. Yes, 1 is greater than 0. So I is equal to what? I plus 1 of n. So what is the value of I2? The value of I2 is 40. 40 plus 1 of n. 1 of n. So what? So 1 will be passed here. Okay. So now let's come here. The value of n is 1. Okay. 1 greater than 0. Yes. So the value of I will be incremented to 15. Fine. And now fun 1 will call fun 0. Okay. The value of n is 0. So now let's check the condition. N greater than 0. No. False. So it means what? The value of I will be returned here. So it means what? Here 15 will be returned. Okay. So it means what? The value of I2 will become 40 plus 15. That is 55. Okay. So I2 will become 55. Fine. And now since this statement is successfully executed, so now fun2 will call this statement, that is n minus 1. So fun2 will call here I am writing. Fine. Fun2 of n minus 1. 1 minus 1 of 0. Okay. So now let's check the condition. Here n value is 0. So now 0 greater than 0? No. It's a false statement. Okay. Since it's a false statement, so these two lines will not be executed. So the value of I will be returned at the end. So it means what? The value of I2 will be returned at the end and its value is 55. Okay. So 55 is the answer. Okay. Although this question is very lengthy, but it's not a difficult question. Okay. You should give it a try if you have more time left. Okay. Okay. Let's move to the next question. Thank you.